Well, guys, the time continues to fly right on by, which means it is already time for another weekly roundup. Donald Trump has been in office for 14 weeks now. He's got 194 weeks left to go. And of course, he's got 1,359 days until hopefully we can roll his ass right out of the White House. Now, of course, this week has been consumed with people evaluating Donald Trump's first 100 days back in office. It's been an absolute disaster. But that means we've got a whole bunch of things that we missed that we can add to this week's roundup of a whole bunch of random clips. And before I go ahead and get started on those clips, I just wanted to say thank you yet again, because we have already made it to 10,000 subscribers. I mean, it is absolutely insane to me. At the start of the year, we had just crossed over 1,000 subscribers, which means we have 10x'd the subscriber count in just a couple of months. I am just so thankful for each and every one of you that has decided to follow along with me on this journey, and hopefully we can continue to build the channel and reach more viewers into fighting back against this authoritarian regime. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and kick things off with this first clip of Kelly Loeffler saying that actually small businesses like these tariffs, guys. If you guys do appreciate my work, please do remember to subscribe.
Already. But what I'm hearing from small businesses is they want that level playing field. They know that this is a short-term situation that is going to be replaced by a much brighter long-term, whether I've been in small businesses that are hardware stores or small manufacturers, they are excited about Made in America. They understand the emergency we were under because we no longer made our own chips, our defense products.
People fail to realize that we are still the #2 manufacturing powerhouse in all of the world, right behind China. So it's not like we do not manufacture things here. Yes, could things be better as far as critical supplies like pharmaceuticals and other things? Sure. But to think that we were just doing no manufacturing, that we are just following behind the world, it is just a fallacy. And to think that these small businesses are so excited for these tariffs to come in place as many small businesses around the country shut down, I mean, what type of delusion are these people living in? These tariffs are devastating for the entire economy, especially for small and medium-sized businesses, because they do not have the capital to weather this uncertainty storm. It is absolutely insane. Let's go ahead and move on to Tulsi Gabbard, who tries to say that people were spending half of their time under Joe Biden on DEI.
They're obviously the DEI stuff that has been a huge distraction. I've had employees come and talk to me and say they were expected to spend half of their day within the intelligence community focused on DEI work.
What does this even mean? What does that even look like? What do you mean you have to spend half of your time on DEI work? What the hell is this person talking about? And who believes this nonsense? Who really thinks that the people in the CIA are spending half of their time on diversity, equity, and inclusion? I mean, it is an insane thing to say, and it's even more insane that she thinks that people are going to buy this shit. I mean, what is wrong with these people? Let's go ahead and move on to this guy, who, again, why are these types of people the ones surrounding Donald Trump and his administration and asking questions like this?
Thank you, Caroline. In Trump's first 99 days, we've seen a coordinated assault on the rule of law by radical judges who are thwarting his agenda with an unprecedented number of national injunctions. These judges are providing more due process to violent MS-13 and Tren de Aragua illegal aliens than they did for American citizens who peacefully protested on January 6th. As Stephen Miller has highlighted, it would be utterly ridiculous to have full trials and appeals for the more than 15 million illegal aliens that came across our border under.
Nobody is saying that all of these people need to go through a long and arduous process like a trial, jury trial. That is not what anybody is asking for. These people just need to be provided due process. That could be as simple as a 15-minute hearing. This is a fallacy that these people keep on pushing because they do not want to provide due process to these people that they do not like. And to think that, oh, we've got this unprecedented situation where you got all these injunctions against the Trump administration. Well, maybe if you didn't have a lawless president who is breaking all of the laws and ignoring the Supreme Court, maybe we wouldn't be in the scenario that we find ourselves in. And what is with these types of people being allowed in the press briefing room to ask these types of questions? I mean, was this even a question? I mean, he's just basically making a statement, right? Oh, we've got these radical judges who are trying to shut down Trump's agenda and blah, blah. That you can't just make a statement of sycophantry that is going to make Donald Trump happy, and then it is insane that these are the types of people who are allowed in to the press briefing room. These are not doing a service to the American people. We should be there to ask challenging questions. Donald Trump and his administration are in power, and they should be held to account for all of their different fuck-ups. I mean, that is how reporting and news is supposed to go. I mean, geez, it is so frustrating. Let's go ahead and move on to this person who claims, or actually, I'll just let her speak, but then we'll talk about the Canadian election.
I think who I voted for would be the best to take care of Trump, because Trump is, I'm sorry to say, an ass, and he shouldn't even be president of the United States.
Yeah, that's right. Donald Trump is an asshole. And the only reason I included this clip is because the conservatives up in Canada had a 25-point lead on the Liberal Party at the start of the year. And because Donald Trump is so catastrophic to anything that he touches, because he kills everything, the Liberals actually won the Canadian election. It is like one of the greatest comebacks of all time. They were literally down by 25 points. And because Donald Trump tried to meddle, tried to, get in bed with the Conservative Party in Canada and then wanted to say that, oh, we're going to annex you, we're going to redraw the lines, you're going to become the 51st state. I mean, I'm sure it has the exact opposite effect that Donald Trump was shooting for, but it just goes to show that being against Trump is a winning message right now. Let's go ahead and move on to Stephen Miller, who said that maybe Fox News should just fire their pollsters.
He's sort of underwater, and particularly on the economy, tariffs, and inflation, he's well underwater. You've still got some work to do in that front. A lot of people think that he's spending too much time on tariffs and not enough time on the economy and lowering prices. What do you say?
Well, I don't want to make things awkward for you, John, but it is our opinion that Fox News needs to fire his pollster.
This is unacceptable. We should not have somebody in the Trump administration telling a news agency that they should go ahead and just fire their pollster because dear leader doesn't like the latest polls. This is some authoritarian nonsense. As we know, Donald Trump is a malignant narcissist who cannot handle any criticism at all. And because Fox has turned into state-run media, is in complete compliance with Donald Trump or become completely subservient to Donald Trump, Stephen Miller feels comfortable asking this question on national television. What are we doing here, folks? This should be unacceptable in a functioning democracy. This is out of line and not okay. Let's go ahead and move on to Kevin Hassett. Is that his name? Yeah, Kevin, right? Trying to explain the types of deals that they're working out.
There are multiple deals that are extraordinarily close, especially with our Asian trading partners. Secretary Lutnick and Bessent and I were in the Oval yesterday discussing it with the president, and we've seen sketches of deals. I'm not going to put, deals that aren't signed in front of the American people until the president's ready to do that.
We've got sketches of deals, guys. Don't you know? Why does every single one of these interviews sound exactly like that? Well, we've been talking to a lot of people. They've been coming in. We've been trying to work out. I've seen sketches and I've seen the sub deal. These people are full of shit. They have not worked out any deals. They are not providing any information that would make us believe that they are working towards some sort of deal. And instead, we just hear this nonsense. They come on and they virtue signal or whatever they're doing to the MAGA base. They're trying to pull one over on the American people, trying to say, oh, we're working so hard for you. We're getting so close, except they can never provide any evidence that that is actually the case. Every single one of them does this, whether it's Scott Bessent, Peter Navarro, Hassett, whatever his name is. I mean, this is unacceptable. It's just unacceptable. There should be a little bit more transparency than this. And if Donald Trump didn't throw us into this chaos in the first place, we wouldn't even be having these conversations. Let's go ahead and move on to Peter Navarro, who said that actually the contracting GDP is a good thing.
I got to say just one thing about today's news. That's the best negative print I have ever seen in my life. And the markets need to look beneath the surface of that. We had a 22% increase in domestic investment. That is off the charts when you strip out inventories and the negative effects of the surge in imports because of the tariffs. You had 3% growth.
That is the best, worst news that I have ever seen, guys. And in fact, if you look at it the way that I want you to look at it, it actually is 3% growth. You just got to trust me on that one, guys. Just trust me. As you guys know, the GDP contracted, I think it was 0.3% in the first quarter, and that is just not good for an economy, right? And I think this was the first contraction that we've seen in over 3 years, I believe it was, and they're trying to spin this as though it's some sort of win when it is clearly not. And just because you can look at the data some certain way and you can cherry pick some things that might be an okay indicator, doesn't mean that the overall picture is not a contraction in our GDP. And to think that this is the best, worst news you've seen. I mean, it's just absolutely hilarious. These people just don't quit. They just don't quit. Let's go ahead and move on to Trump, saying that lefty media is the enemy of the people. Of course, it wouldn't be a week complete unless we had some more authoritarian nonsense from this schmuck.
Key response on the leftist media, they're trying to hide the mugshots that are featured on the front lawn of rapists, murderers, pedophiles. What do you think of that? Aren't they proving to be the enemy of the people?
Well, I guess they are. I guess they are, right? Thank you. Who are you with?
Again, this is just more of the same from Donald Trump. It's what we have come to expect from this addled old man. But in any healthy, functioning democracy, this should not be tolerated. The news, the press, is not the enemy of the people. They are one of the pillars of a good and functioning democracy. But because Donald Trump is a wannabe authoritarian who doesn't like any criticism or any pushback at all, this is the type of rhetoric that we hear from him on an often basis, right? And what they're talking about here is clearly the White House is feeling some pressure because during the week, they put a whole bunch of mugshots out on the White House lawn. I think it was lining some drive or something. But it was all these different supposed undocumented immigrants who had supposedly committed a crime that has supposedly been taken off of the streets. But the problem was that nobody has confirmed that that was actually the case. And because this administration is so untrustworthy, people like, I believe it was CNN, they didn't want to show those people because they weren't able to confirm whether they committed the crime that they were being accused of on these printouts and whether or not they were undocumented or were even guilty of anything. So I think some news agencies rightfully blurred those images out because you don't want to go on and slander people if there is no evidence of any of their wrongdoing. It's completely reasonable. And again, here we have another sycophantic reporter who is asking stupid questions and is just taking up air that could be going to a reasonable and, a better reporter. Oh, is the lefty media becoming the enemy of the people because they blurred out the different posters? What is this nonsense? We've just fallen so far, so fast. The President of the United States is calling the press the enemy of the people. He has, hand-selected people to be the ones asking him questions, and then we get stupid questions like this that are doing no good for the American people. These are just virtue signaling type questions for the MAGA base. This is some red meat for those people to chew on. They're doing an absolute disservice to the American people. But I guess, like I said, it's just what we have come to expect from this authoritarian regime. Let's go ahead and move on to this one last clip for a little bit more hope. Here's Tim Walz talking about how we all need to be out there in the fight right now.
Yeah, well, Henry, thanks for the question. And look, you've got these three governors, myself. I'm partial towards governors. I'll just say that they're out there, but we need everybody on the field. We need everybody out there filling a lane and taking a message. Donald Trump understands this. He sucks up so much oxygen. He's the 800-pound gorilla in the room. And the debate that's happening right now, could 100 people defeat a gorilla? I'd like to find out with 100 of us to get out there and fill these lanes, tell them what we're doing, show them a difference, show them the fight that people are ready to lead, and we need to be alongside of them.
Yeah, he's exactly right, guys. We have to be fighting on every single front that we possibly can. Whether you're a governor or a congressperson going out into red districts and holding town halls, maybe you're a medical researcher who just lost your grant funding, finding ways to fight back in that arena. We have all got to pick a lane, and we have got to take the battle to them every single day. I would like to find out what the end of that bet would be as well. Can 100 people come together and slay the gorilla, as Tim Walz was just saying? I think that we can do it. But I think that we're going to have to come together and build some sort of coalition that can effectively fight back against the authoritarian regime. So whether you are going into your local community and protesting, maybe you've got local democracy groups, maybe you've got local mutual aid groups, pick a place that you think that you would be useful in and start fighting back in any way that you possibly can. I think that's the only way that we are going to be able to effectively take over this authoritarian nonsense that we are currently seeing in our country, right? But it's going to take every single one of us. You know, they always say, nobody's coming to save us. It's going to be we the people who stand up and fight back and take our country back. And I think that that is the exact right messaging. And I think that our leaders, they need to be out there doing things as well, whether it's taking the fight to Donald Trump on the news every day about the different things that he is doing. We saw Congress people travel down to El Salvador to stand up for due process, and that was absolutely the right thing to do. So we are seeing a lot of good fighters. They're coming out and doing whatever they can to fight back against the Trump administration, and we just need to keep the fight on. We've got to come together. We've got to build a coalition, because if we roll over and just let them roll over the top of us, that's exactly what they're going to do. So we've got to come together, and we got to fight back against the authoritarian regime, guys. So those are the clips that I had for you guys this week. I know we've been consumed with the first 100 days of this disastrous Trump administration, but this was a way for us to kind of look at the absurdity that we kind of missed throughout the week. Now, I just want to say once again that I am so thankful to each and every one of you that has decided to join me on this journey. Like I said, we crossed over 10,000 subscribers, which is just an absolute honor for me. Like I said, we were at 1,000 at the start of the year. Now we're over 10,000, and I just cannot be more grateful. And hopefully we can continue to build this platform and reach out to more people as we fight back against this authoritarian regime. So I hope you guys have a good weekend. I think there are supposed to be some protests going on this weekend. Hopefully you can get involved there. Otherwise, guys, I will see you next week. And take care. Keep your chin up. We will win this together. That's all for me on this one, guys. If you guys got anything out of this video, please do remember to smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe share with a friend or two. I'd very much appreciate that. We are trying to build something here on the left that adequately pushes back against the right-wing media ecosystem that just launders all of this authoritarian nonsense for Donald Trump every single day. So if you do like what I do here, please do remember to hit that subscribe button and share the channel if you could. And if you guys want to see how Donald Trump's polling is just absolutely cratering as we cross over this 100-day mark, please do watch that video on the screen now. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next one.